Hello, Richie Nomi fans. This is N League. This is going to be week 16, last week of regulation games. I am Michael Verstegi, and I'm joined here with alleged human Korak. Korak, say something.
Something. I hear their words out there. We have an interesting set of matches coming up. As you can see here, the Brooklyn Towers and the Destroyers are very likely going to advance with the top four, the cutoff happening after today. But that means we have the Falcons, the Triad, and Team Doroneko lining up for the other two spots here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really tight race, and Falcons are sitting pretty at a 60-point margin above the Triad, but that can easily change, especially with the very harsh rules that we've seen in N League. We've seen bigger swings happen in previous weeks.
Now, anytime you have that Oka or first place bonus, it doesn't take much to make it up. That's why even if you only lose 30 or 40 points, if everyone below you just storms back with plus 60s or so, largely based on all that extra Uma and Oka, you can definitely make up the difference. And it's not like they're sitting way back. 12.8 is certainly within reach, but the big fight here is between Triad and Team Dordeco.
Absolutely. I think Christie's definitely going to try to just stay above water. I don't think she can really afford to lose too many points, but at the same time, I think Melissa here is going to be pushing real hard for those points just to make the top cut. Meanwhile, we have Claire for the Falcons, who just wants to rent high, just stay above the Triads, and their position is basically secure. And then, of course, Destroyers and Sours on top have almost nothing to worry about whatsoever. But for the bottom three teams, that does leave a lot of opportunity for shenanigans and bounty hunting. We have several of our members putting bounties on certain Yaku. I know Quincy specifically will pay out $10 to anyone who gets Junshan Sanshoku Menzen. So for those three teams, that might be a way to make some money.
It'd certainly be a nice little bonus here, but we can see they're sixth and seventh. They're very close. So you're always fighting that at least for a little bit of pride at this point.
Yep. And it looks like we're about to get into our first game. Christy's going to start off as dealer for Team Triad. Then it'll be Captain Kevin for Team Yakumen, Captain Claire for the Falcons, and rounded out by Michael W for the Destroyers. Players look like they're about to begin, so let's get into it.
All right, should be revealing the hands any second now, and there we go. Looks like pretty good Pinfu Henmi, a distant Itsu and Monzu. I see at least one Dora, but not too much connecting to it. Still significantly better than average hand. And now you really see that Mon shape. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 6, 9. So again, couple pension there maybe, but you're gonna do pretty well with a hand like
Yep,
that.
he's got a
Here,
Ryeonmin, Penshan. Actually, I think it was a Kanchan because with the 6
yeah, the
so.
Conchon. You're going to get that in there. And here, Claire with a very nice hand, a nice Dora there, floating tiles near the main Dora with a 3-so, 2-so being the Dora here. Michael with a Pinfu type hand, except that with a pair of North, it's not going to likely be Pinfu. That's a callable Yakuhai.
That's true, but the North was already once cut by Claire. He didn't call it, so and one of them sitting in Christie's hand. We'll see if he calls it now. And he does. He's going for that quick Yakuhai, like you said. He has door acceptance with the 1-so, and it looks like he's going to hang on for that, but we'll see if that develops any further. It's still going to be a hard shape to fill.
Yeah, we just have the 1 and you need the 2 and the 3 to make any sort of value out of it. You're likely just end up cutting it. I'd honestly just keep it safe tally, even almost this early when you have Rihanna and Ishan 10. And there's Tempai. Well, you don't have to think too hard now. 2-5 pin.
Yep, 2-5 pin for Michael W. Tempai, first Tempai of the table. I believe that is just Yaku Nomi, so that's going to be a quick 1,000 points for him. And ooh, there's a bit of a backfire there. He could have accepted Dora for 1,000 more points, but I guess like who's going to toss Dora at this stage in the game? I think everyone wants to try and use it. I know Claire has been hanging on to that 3-so in her hand. Everyone wants Dora, and there's a fill for Claire. She's going to let go of that 3-so, and she is Ishan 10.
Oh, look at that. That is not Tempai, I think. Yeah, that's a 5, 6, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's actually still Ishan 10. But we see that 2-pin is going to be a very in-demand tile. Kevin needs it. We have an Onko there on the left. And now Claire, of course, connects and now upgrades the Ishan 10. Can call all sorts of stuff here.
Yep, and we see again that unfortunate backfire. He did actually draw that entire Shinsu in the Sozu with the Dora. So missing Sumo by just picking the wrong group. How dare you take Tempai? Always punished, right?
Well, at this point, it's take anything you can get, especially now we're getting towards the point where those closed hands start getting a little scarier. Now, this will be the actual Tempai. Wait, no, again, I'm still missing it because the 9 was cut. There's another backfire on that hand.
Oh, and Christy gets the Uncon for the 2-pin. Will she con here? She is.
There's no real value on that hand. I'd still con just because you're Ishunten at this
Yes,
point.
Ishan 10 just for the extra draw.
Well, not just the extra draw, the extra foo, the draw. Of course, you're Ishan 10 close, so you're looking for that reachy value anyway. Extra Condora, Conora, always good.
Yeah. And we see another call coming out from Michael, probably going to cut that 8-pin for the head and waiting on to 5-pin again.
Yeah, we eventually got here. It was that 2-5-pin wait. Just took some awkward.
Oh, that's bad. That's the door that Michael tossed away if Chrissy rejects this. But I think she might smell a little blood in the water. Yep, just going to toss that Forso. Expertly dodging the deal-in. Claire calls the 7-pin and is also... Oh, and she deals in for Tempai. That's 1,000 points to Michael. Honestly, not the worst deal that you could have, but...
Especially when you're going for a cheap open hand, dealing in for 1,000 is fine. You don't want to be in a situation where someone calls reach, you have no defense, and then you deal in for that Mongon. You're not feeling that bad about 1,000.
Right. And it does also get Christy off her dealership, so she has one more opportunity to make up a lot of points, and Claire denied her first one. So getting into this next hand, looks like Michael has a pair of the North again. Not going to serve him nearly as well here as it did in the last hand. But so far, looks like everyone just has some pretty ordinary, nondescript hands, but we'll see how it all develops. The East Dora, though, is going to definitely shake things up. Definitely going to make it hard for people to use any of the tone that we see. Christy having one of them in her hand, but I think that's the only one around the table at the moment.
Yeah, Kevin's hand is looking a little bit better than probably the rest. Now, there's an interesting decision by the very first discard by Claire. When I look at this, I almost kind of want to go Junshan with it. It's hard to make anything with these shapes. Force is going to fill nicely. Christy draws another pin tile, so that's another pair. The hand's just a mess still.
I mean, opportunity for Chitoy. Never far away from Chitoy.
Well, when you're sitting there 4 away from Tempai for Chitoy, you're never feeling that good. And that's a nice little fill. I'm going to go ahead and cut the 7-mon. You're looking at all those Sotais, like, is there a way I can just go Honitsu and not have to worry about this dumb hand?
And the 3-pin is a nice pickup for Christy. That's a nice Nakabukude shape in the Pinzu 3445. So that's going to make her hand a little bit more flexible. Definitely helps the medicine go down, but hand's still kind of far off from anything valuable.
No, there's a backfire at that 6. I haven't got the 7 the previous turn. Was definitely hedging the Honitsu by keeping the Haku or White Dragon there, and gets kind of punished. I mean, you're still fine with that end result.
Yeah.
We just see a bunch of closed hands. It's one of those situations where you look at the table and everyone's like, yep, I have nothing. Next player, yep, I have nothing. And we see 4 of them.
Yep. There's a second door on the table in Michael's hand now. So one Christie's, one Michael. It's going to be a bit of a race to see who gets the pair of it. But at this state, going into the second row, I don't think anyone's going to be dropping any tone anytime soon.
Well, they might if their hands improve. The problem is we've been talking about their hands have just been so bad for so long. Okay, now you might start seeing things like that East come out if that gets a little closer for Michael.
Right, and that's a nice Kanchan fill for Christy. Usually when you have good shapes in other places, you generally fill the good shapes first, but getting your bad shape filled first always feels great.
And immediately throws the Dora there. Not going for the Doratanki, just basically checking it here, seeing is anyone going to pull it or where is everyone in their hands. And gets the result there. They're probably not that great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's another good fill for Christy. She is Ishanten. And that is guaranteed Pinfu if she gets a
Yeah, but you're really hoping for the Sanchogu there. The problem is if you end up drawing the 9 pin, you'll be tempted by 3, 4, 4, 5 without a pair. All right, we see the Haku come out there, and I believe that's Ram and Headless Ishanten. And that's also Ishanten.
Three, 3, 4.
Oh no, that's just Tempai on the 4 so, isn't it?
I have to go back and look at the hand again. It was a very big Sozu shape. They're also picking up quite a number of pairs here.
Clear hedging Chicho. Yeah, it was Tempai on that 4 so. Dama soon to get all the value, but Sumo Ipeko Dora 2 is already a Mongon and will be absolutely fine with that. Michael jumps out into a pretty big burst here.
Yeah. Kevin hurting a bit from that Kabaddi, but also his team's in the last place, so it can't hurt that much.
Probably looking at an above average hand here. Kind of a pinfuish. The 8 pin would really help. Dora's 3-mon.
3-mon Dora, Michael already has it in a confirmed shape. That is looking great for him. Looking bad for everyone else, though.
Well, Michael looked Ishanten. It looked cheap, but I didn't see anything that dangerous in the hand.
Kevin also picking up one guaranteed shape, and then I believe that was 2 Janmen and a Toitsu.
Yes, it'd be Richi Dora 1 looking for 3 so or 9 so.
Oh, Christy with 2 pairs of dragons. Are we going to see our first Yakuman of the season, or I guess of the tournament series? We didn't have one last year either.
They're going to kind of hedge almost everything with that 7-mon. If you were aiming more for the Daisangen, you'd cut the 7-mon and keep the 6 pair. Because you're going to have a pair at some point. And there's our first pull. It may just be going Honetsu, and that looks to be the play. 4-pin, an amazing pull here.
Now the question is whether or not she can draw the pair of Haku. Otherwise, once she makes that second call of the Hatsu, no one's dropping any dragons forever again.
Now we see a potential upgrade on that shape there for Michael. Now can also accept the 7 so for Tempai.
Claire's hand honestly not moving all that much. Looks like it's going to be a bit of an empty dealership for her. Christy pairs up the 7-mon, but that's not what she needs if she wants for Sangen, sorry. Can't speak
Well,
today.
show Sangen, but there's our going to be our Richi here. Kevin with a Richi Pinfu Dora at least.
Yep, and I'm coming up on the instant replay. And that is a 147 weights on Menchan.
And that's a pair up for Christy. The question is, do you give the dream up and just cut the Haku, or are you shoving? Shoves the 7.
Yeah, I mean, you've already cut it
that's
once, might as well
Richi Pinfu Dora 2. So Kevin's already sitting there with Mongon 3-sided. Can't ask for anything more than that. Claire just giving up at this point.
Yep. Claire.
Michael largely giving up, not completely, but just not throwing. Oh no! Well, we could see the
Oh, do
con
you con?
here.
I don't think you can con
No.
here.
Okay, so what you
Absolutely
can do
not.
is you can cut the Haku and then decide to con if you get temp by yourself. And that's going to be the play here. I actually like this a lot.
And now Claire's in a bit of trouble. She doesn't really have anything perfectly safe, just the Suji 3-so, which she's gonna cut. But I don't know about you, but I've been burned by that so many times, especially by Kevin, who likes to wait on some tricky things sometimes.
Well, Suji is only a backup plan, but there's the 7-pin. That's going to deal in. Reach pin food aura 2. 1 aura doesn't make a difference. Will be Mongon.
Yep, and that's 8,000 points out of the Destroyer's pockets, bringing him back down to second place.
Michael wins a Mongon, gives it back. That's still over the starting amount, but will be dealer here in East 4. Has what looks like a pretty good Tanyao hand here. Yeah. I see great completed shapes here, 2 Dora at least. This looks like an amazing starting hand.
Well, that's to be expected of the only person who has won a hand at this table so far.
Christy just has a Chun pair and 2 Doras. This is very much a call and go hand.
Kevin, I'll go the 5-pin, one of them red. That's pretty nice, but the other shapes, not that great.
Yeah, the 2-2 3-pin's okay, but other than that, it's just, what, 3 Kanchan, mess. Speaking of messes, Claire's hand falls in that category. Like, it's a very distant 1 Sunshku Doko, and when you're thinking, hey, maybe I go Doko with this, that's when you know your hand's bad.
Yeah, but the Doko's funny. Let's go. I want to see the Doko.
Do we have a bounty for a Doko? It feels like something should be in there.
I think we do. I should have asked for the list of bounties from Andres before getting on this.
Oh wow, that is an Ishan 10, all right. Needs the 4-mon and 7-mon now to turn that into 2 shapes. You can maneuver it around to a Pinfu, much more likely just the Tanyao. The more I look at the player's hand, the more I think it's just an irredeemable mess.
Expect to see the call out of Christy for Chun? No, she decides to keep it in her hand.
Now, Christy's going Chitoy with this. Currently, Ishan 10 beats the South, the West, or the 1-pin. Well, that was the South was the wrong player. Christy will instead get the East. And now it's a decision to make.
South weight, though. Back. If Christy does get into Tempai, that South cut does make her Chitoy a lot stronger. It's going to be more likely for that South to come out. So actually, not the worst thing for to see out of someone else's hand.
I see the update on the other table. Team Dor and Neko currently in first place. That's definitely what they're aiming for.
Yep, definitely, but it is kind of a minor first place, and I know Chris is greedy as hell, so he could easily upset that very quickly. There's the fill on the Duncon for Kevin. Gonna cut the 9-mon there.
Player's hand's starting to come together, but it's still a distance away and looking for some extra value. Now, you see a delay here. Do you pull in the 5? Do you chi the 5? You're going to take the pull. And this is also cut the 3-8-mon. It's a much more maneuverable shape like that. And you're just technically headless. You have the potential for an Arianman if you have the 4-4-5-6. But if you pair up any of your floaters, you're good.
Yep. Meanwhile, update on Christie's Chitoy. She now has 2 once-cut wins that she could wait on.
Well, that's Tempai waiting on 7-mon. Doesn't take it, though. Ishan 10 for Kevin, looking to pull in the Hatsu.
Claire's
Door
hand
drawn for
looks
Claire, and
even
her
worse.
draws. Yeah, okay. Well, that was the delay on the one turn. Takes this temp by wetting in that 4-7.
And I think at this point, Claire realizes that someone on the table has to be Tempai for my hand to be this bad. So just gonna
Not
hold
only
out.
that, just generally, it's turn 10. You're like, this hand is just budging. If you get Tempai, sure, you probably slam it, but it's just not coming. And even there, giving up even on Suanko Dreams at that point.
Chrissy in a bit of a sort of similar situation there with her Chitoy not picking another pair.
Oh, well, that's the 4-so draw. Kevin says nope, and that's definitely the correct play here. Another 9, so it doesn't fit in the hand. Christy definitely going to just keep this Ishanten for Chitoy Dora 2. Kevin out. Claire is going to be tempted by this, but I think she's out. And yeah, that Amon's definitely a hard fold.
Again, Claire's win condition is to be above Christy, and she is only 1,000 points away, so she benefits more from Christy pushing and dealing in than her herself trying to make anything happen here.
Christy draws another potential Onko and has to throw it. Just stuck with this Chitoy. And you're feeling bad because now you're actually Ishanten for just Joy Toy.
Yeah.
Could have taken the 4-10, would assume of the 3, but I don't think that's the normal play there.
Yep, so the just inventory on the 4-7 weight, there's 2 in Michael's hand, 2 in Claire's hand, and 3 in Christie's, which I believe leaves a single 4-so, if I'm counting that right.
This is always the problem with Ariane weights, is you have 2 of your outs in your hand already.
Yeah, but I mean, from Michael's perspective, it doesn't actually look that bad because you don't see any on the table.
I don't know. That it looks really bad. I don't see any 3-7 on the table now in Sozu. Like those middle Sozu look awful.
Yeah, Claire especially has a habit of just knowing when you're Tempai. I believe she described it as when you start picking up a bunch of tiles in the same Suji group, it's someone's weight. And she has 2 1s and 2 7s, so she knows someone's waiting on that. I think from here on out, the game is just going to play itself for everyone. No one's
But yeah,
going to
Christy
deal
either
in.
gets Tempai or not, and Michael just shoves anything. And the answer is no.
Tempai for Christy.
Gets the Shaw. It's going to be Tempai at least, waiting on the South.
So that's going to be 2 Tempais, 1 for Christy, 1 for Michael. They're each going to pick up 1,500 points, and we're going to see our first big Homba going into East 4 round 1. For those that don't know, we play big home here at Enley. So that's 1,500 points extra on the table instead of 300.
Yeah, Homba is generally everyone would theoretically be responsible for an extra 100. Big Homba is responsible for 500. Well, that's a double East pair and a Dora.
Michael's going to be running with this hand.
Yeah, you don't even have to play Honetsu here. You just go straight efficiency with this. You don't get fancy with it.
I think the only thing I'm keeping there is the Dora, and that's going to be double ton Dora 1 or probably 40 food, depending on what else he can get. So 7,700 points for him, plus 1,500, so 9,200 points. That's
now interesting cut there by Kevin. Cuts the floating 8-mon and keeps the lone Haku. I definitely want to throw in the White Dragon there, but looking to just try and get some value out of it. and then just throws it back anyway. What do you think of that 2-5 shape when where the 5's Dora? I hate those. I want to get rid of those like immediately.
Yeah. And just going around the table like multiple times here, it looks like Michael's the only one with a hand right now.
Touch the north pair. What?
That is definitely a decision.
Yeah, that's going to make that a lot harder to finish now. I feel that hand was much more play it direct, stay closed. That kind of decision saying, I really want to go Tanya with this. And I don't think it needed to.
No.
Clear kind of a middling hand. Michael just hasn't really improved that hand, though. It started out so great, and that hand on turn 1 is very different from that hand on turn 5.
Yeah, like he definitely wants to call something, but he's just not getting the shapes that he needs in order to make those calls, much less with Claire as his Kami. Like she's just not giving him anything. There's a nice shape upgrade. Gonna finally get rid of more of the honors in your hand. Meanwhile, Christie's hand has improved quite a bit. I don't think it's quite as good as Michael's still, even on turn 5 or 6, but it's definitely improved. She could definitely now work with it.
But 3 pins, kind of a deceptive tile. It kind of fits in your hand, but not really.
It allows for the 9-pin cut if you're that dedicated to not even trying for Honitsu, but yeah, it's not really an upgrade. It's at best.
I mean, 9 pins Doris. I don't want to cut that.
Ah, yes, I just noticed. Okay. Yeah, so I think if you're gonna keep it, you're gonna have to basically try and force this.
Well, the idea here is you're going to draw the 7 and potentially end up waiting 3, 6, 9 pin with the extended Nobiton. And Kritsu looks at his hand and he's trying to decide a way forward. Probably hedging Chitoi. 7 pin is the normal cut here. You can see she wants to cut the 2 pin, just hard selling Chitoi. I think you can play everything except Sanchoku, just cutting the 7 pin here.
Yeah, I think 7 pin is definitely the best bet. You have good calls into Tanyao. If you draw the tiles that you need, you could Tanpin. Even if you draw the 1 mon that's still Pinfu. And 7 pin is the cut. It does reduce your door acceptance, though, which is, I think, the only conflict that she was having. Claire finally filling in that Ayonman.
That Tempai, that looks like it's Tempai on 5 mon. I have to get another check at that to be sure.
That is correct. 5 mon for Ipeco.
And Kevin just kind of flailing around with his hand, looking for a pair. Gonna go ahead and cut the west. It does allow you to use the 7, 8, 8, 9, where you use the 8 as a pair if you draw the 6, but most of the time you're going to end up cutting the 8, so anyway. Well, that is an awkward shape. I think the normal cut here is the 3 pin. Instead, just going to slam the door in there, and that's going to deal in.
Ipeco door 1. So that's going to be easy 26 plus 15, so 40.
4,100. Yeah, that hurts a bit. Going to drop them into last place now.
And more importantly for Falcons, that puts them above Christie by 100 points.
Here we're going to enter South round. Christie is going to be dealer here. It is South 1. And you got to look at that hand. Looks better than average, but nothing particularly fancy.
Yep,
Couple of West, Pinfu.
You got the Kanchan and Manzu.
There are even Chitoi routes here. It's an above average hand, but it's not a valuable hand.
Gonna go for the normal north cut.
Kevin, though, with a much more direct Pinfu hand, 1, 4, or 6 pin would really help it. You do need the 7 mon to really pull that together, though. They're distant 5, 6, 7 Sanchoku routes, but unlikely. Claire, again, she just had some really bad hands. There's a distant 7, 8, 9 Sanchoku, which is probably how I'd play that hand. but it's just a mess. And Kevin going to go ahead and cut the 7 pin. I actually don't like that. You should be getting one of the honors there and just use the 7 as a floater. The extra south and extra June don't really help you a lot, whereas that 7 can connect to anything 5 to 9.
Yep, and it looks like Christie's going to advance sort of towards Pinfu, but she also needs that 7 pin in order to bring that hand together. Claire's hand, oh my god, Claire, please draw better tiles.
Well, that's an interesting draw there for Michael. Going to go ahead and hedge both the not the Itsu and the Sanshogu, both of them potentially aiming for the golden 1 away with a couple good draws. 2 Mon would really help filling that shape out.
That is Tempai for Christie on the 5 Mon, but it looks like she's going to wait for a better weight to Ricci. Which makes sense. As an Oya Ricci, you're not going to see the 5 Mon come out very easily. Especially when Claire's holding 2 of them.
No, just level up your sumo skill. But this is one that Dom is normal just because you have so many upgrades. And that's by Dora. I actually really like 6 Mon cut here. Give up the Tempai. The problem is you already cut that 6 so there are a lot of 4-10. That said, if you have a 4 so and draw the 5 so 4-10, you don't even care that much because your 4-10's 3-6 and you want the 3 anyway.
Michael getting a nice fill for the 2 Mon. Looks like he's going to go more toward the...
you have to just throw this one out. Waiting on the west here. I mean, it's Ricci Nomi, sure, but I mean, we're talking about the Ricci Nomi club here.
Right. And that's what she's going to do. Waiting on Sha Formon. She also just needs those points in order to make any attempt to knock the Falcons down and possibly out of contention.
Well, and just generally, you draw west, you're just going to shove into that. There's no real danger sense from it. It's dealer. Oh,
and there's the 5 Mon. Oh no!
If she would have just hit the Ricci as soon as it came, that would have been the Ricci Sumo. And Kevin not really sure how to defend against this. Just gonna hard fold.
Yeah, Chrissy hasn't really given away all that much information from her hand. Basically, she
when you see that pawn, you're like, is that a cheat toy? There's all those middle tiles. Whereas what Christie really wants is another 6-pin to con and maybe get some value out of this.
And Kevin is basically out of safe tiles. One saving grace for Claire having such a bad hand is that you just have so much safety built in because, like, what else are you going to collect into the hand like that?
And Michael was Ishanten there, but goes and breaks it. Doesn't want to challenge a Steeler Ricci. Which, of course, is the big power of a dealer Ricci is they don't really want to fight you. Still looking for those Wests. They're both in the wall right now, aren't they?
They are, and I believe so are the 4 Mon. Oh, that's a dangerous tile, but it's the wrong win for Kevin that he's getting nervous about.
Well, it is the East against an East Ricci, so there's certainly good reason to be skeptical of it.
Yeah, and Tone is also just not in the river either. I believe Michael had a pair of the Hatsu, and Ops not call it. I think he's also just gonna... Oh, he cut it already. Never mind.
Yeah, where are they?
Yeah, it's all 4 of Christie's outs are in the wall somewhere. They just haven't popped up, and every player is just very rightfully suspicious. All the correct suits.
We're not saying much because there's not much to say here.
Yeah,
It's just, where is it?
everyone's folding. Everyone is waiting on bated breath for this Shah or Formon to come out, and it's just stuck in the wall. Oh,
Well,
there's
there's
one.
one.
Finally, Kevin's definitely not going to cut it, but there's one of them.
Yeah,
3-1
Kevin
for
draws it
Christie.
and says, no, let's not do this.
I guess since we have a break, Claire would kill me if I didn't mention that she just recently did her nails. I believe it was the 3 dragon tiles in the color of the Falcon. Claire also drawing and being very wary of the Nun's Cut Tong. And we've seen 2 Akka drawn, and Michael gonna cut it. I believe it's safe. Yep.
Yeah, the 5 came out already, so that's not the issue. I mean, you don't expect the Formon to come out, although it'd be nice to see one. You do expect the West. Now we might see
There's
it.
the Shah. Again,
The 5 pin is safe, though. If you play proper defense, you will
Yep.
not deal in.
there
And that
it
hand
is.
just isn't there yet. If it's Tempai, I absolutely shove it, but it's just not there. And this is one where you draw it, you look at it and go, why on earth is this not cut by anyone?
Yeah, right? You're just looking at this river. We're 2 draws out. How have none of these tiles been cut at all? And the answer to that is, of course, you called Ricci as Oya.
Well, I believe that's Tempai there, 258. So
And update on the other table. Looks like Damien has been sweeping, with Melissa taking 2nd place, Chris in 3rd, and Waben in a bit of a distant last. There's another Formon.
Formon. Yeah.
I believe that leaves out 1 Shah and 1 Formon left.
Yes, and it is a 258 weight. Looks like a Pinfu with 1 Dora.
Oh, and there's John denying the last draw for...
Come on, please
Kevin.
make the Shaw the Rin Shaw. That's what we always want to see.
No.
Womp womp.
And that is 2 Tempai. 3 Tempai? 2 Tempai.
2 Tempai, 1500. We'll drop Claire to last place.
I mean, with these margins, that last does not feel like it's last.
Well, with those margins and 1500 and Homba out there, I'm calling anything I can get my hands on. Chris, you're the pretty nice starting end here. Potential Ricci, Pinfu, Dora there. Let's see, is that 4 Mon? It's either 3 or 4 Mon is the Dora, so definitely have that as well.
Yep. Christy does have a lot of honors to get through. So does Kevin in order to get the hand coming together into.
Yeah, Kevin's hand's a bit of a mess. There are a couple of Ramen in there, but that's about it. Claire's really wants one of those Yakai to pair, but they're just not there. Has 3 pairs. May go Chitoy or even Tanya later. And Michael's hand is just a bunch of hanchans as well. I mean, a couple of Ramen in there. But Christy clearly the best hand here.
I mean, it's the best hand, but it's got that penchant. It's still got an honor that it's got to get through. Maybe she could pair up the East and have a much more callable hand, but I'm not.
Well, here's the thing. You don't have to have a fast hand. You just have to be faster than the other 3 people at the table.
That's fair. Kevin looking like he could also just go Tanya and just start calling even now with 3 honors or 2 honors and a 9 pin to cut.
Ooh, that 5 shows a really interesting tile. But I think the 7 Mon is the normal cut. Instead, we'll kind of hedge towards Tanya by cutting the 1. So let's just lose the 2 so acceptance.
I mean, I can see where he's coming from. With 1 home on the table and these close of scores, yeah, you do want that fast hand. I might have gone and hedged a little bit more towards Itsu, but that's just me.
Elite so fits in nicely there, but still 2 away. And Claire's just going Cheetoy. It's one of those where, like, if I get good draws, we'll take it. If not, Cheetoy.
Yeah, I would have liked to see that Haku pair up, though. Just came a bit too late for her.
And Chrissy expands the Rian-Shanten 2 away here, but just it's not there, not getting even to East Shanten.
Yeah, this is really frustrating when you know any hand gets you into, but like the tiles aren't coming, and you don't know what's in other people's hand. All you know is that they're also all Menzen, all throwing out like edge tiles or honors. So you literally just have no information of what's going on. She doesn't realize that she still probably has one of the better hands in this game.
Yeah, we're in second row, and sure, the other hand improved a lot, and yours hasn't, but you were so far ahead to begin with. You're still probably the driver's seat. Now, Michael's moved this sort of generally. Oh, the backfire on the Duso! And now gets rid of that 7. Will be cheat down. Christian's going to call for Tanya. I mean, this is 1 pin. As of course, you can pair up the 2, the 5, or the 8 so and be Tempai, but currently Ishan 10 headless, so they do have the potential to move it on the 5, 6, 7, 8
she
so.
calls the 5/6 Janmen and then just takes the Nobitan.
Well, Claire, now you have a real decision. Do you play a regular hand or just sell it on Cheetoy? Because that's the draw that pushes you to a regular hand. I like 6-mon here. Because if we draw the 7, we can hedge towards the Ipeco. Well, that is not Tempai. Oh, dreaming of 1, 2, 3 San should go down the drain at this point. Have the early one, so just really messed that hand up.
Yeah. Again, if he heads towards that Itsu or maybe Sanshoku, even open one Han, like that still gets you 3,500 points.
3,500. There's 25 in the middle. You really do play the game differently when you have big Homa. Okay, just draw it yourself. This is Tempai. I imagine you just slam it. Will Dama here waiting on 4-7 pin. No Yaku.
Evan finally pairing up his Yakuhai, but it's still so slow. We're already 2.5 rows, 1.5 rows in.
Yeah, that's definitely 4-7 pin weight.
And I believe that Non is not cut at all. And we're approaching the end of the second row. So tossing that out here with, again, these very razor thin margins is just so dangerous. He's just going to fold
Oh,
out.
now you have a decision. You want the 4-7 or the 3-6? Keeps the 4-7 weight. Oh, and a bit of a backfire there from Chrissy. You can't expect the 4 to triple up like that, though. Ishanten, I believe, there for Kevin, looking for the Itsu. Now, that is technically a 3-6 weight if you take it, and we'll Dama here now on that 3-6 so.
And there's the Ponten for Christie waiting on 5-8 so.
Yeah, it takes the Cheeten there, and waiting on that 5-8. That's 6 Kevin just not going to throw the south here. Has made the decision that it's just not happening. And then Claire draws one.
It looks like
and you
we're
see
having...
the hesitation. Claire does not like that tile whatsoever.
Yeah, for very good reason. But looking around the table, I think the only thing, if she wants to fold, the only thing that she could really do, I guess, yeah, that 9-mon or the 9-pin.
That's Sumo!
Yeah, it looks like we're having some trouble updating the overlay, so we're gonna try to work that out and get that updated for you guys as soon as possible. But yep, that
Just
is...
a Sumo Nomi. Doesn't even get a pinful out of that, but with 2,500 in the middle, that's good enough.
Yep, 300, 500 becomes 800, 1,000, plus the Rigi stick in the middle.
All right, Kevin Zier here in South 2 has a Pinfu type shape, but a couple of honors to get rid of here. You're thinking 1, 2, 3, or 2, 3, 4 Sanchoku is your real value in this hand. Gonna have to organize it a bit still. But actually, there's a 2 Doko here. And I
Oh,
talked
please
about
be
earlier that
Doko.
you don't dream about, but that's like actually a viable hand. You
Yeah,
go for Doko 2s, and it looks like there's South Pair for the Yakuai as well.
and yeah, if you're Kevin in last place and with basically no hope of getting into the top cut, you just have fun with that. So maybe he does go for the Doko and go for the bounty if it exists. I hope it exists. Please exist.
Yeah, and you just play regularly. If you end up 2, 3, 4 Sanchoku, the other Sanchoku Dojun as opposed to Sanchoku Doko, you're fine with that as well. But anytime you see a Doko that's set up that well and a Yakuai pair, you at least think about it.
Yeah, and I mean it doesn't even have to be a Yakuai pair. Any pair there works, really. But it's just funny that it is Yakuai, so he has all the decisions in the world in his hand. Bear's picking up one of those Tumon though.
Michael's hand's very good here, too. That's Tempai. If you just Ricci the 3, wait on 3 pin. It's a Kanchan Ricci Dora 3.
All right, and it looks like things on the overlay are updating now, so the scores should be accurate.
Oh, wait, no, it's not, because the Dora is wrong. It's actually 4 pin, not 4 mon.
And I believe Christie is not Tempai either. Oy vey, in table 2, looks like things are happening with Wabin busted and Damien sitting at 46,000 points. Nothing changed between Melissa and Chris. But that Dora Neko top cut is looking less likely with scores like that.
Well, needs a bunch of ground to make up, and that's going to be a little bit, but you're at the need 30 to 40 a game, so we'll absolutely need a first and last game and probably some help.
That said, a loss like that or a being down like that has not stopped other players, specifically Christian, from just all last as Oya, just running the score and taking first.
But yes, that hand is actually Ricci Dora 2. As mentioned, the Dora is 4 pin, not the 4 mon on the board.
Anyway, getting back to our game, Michael's still Ricci.
Well, the 3 pin's kind of dying, so I think there's, what, 1 left? Because when you're waiting on the Dora indicator, this will happen. You know it's terrible. You know you're going to have to draw it yourself, but if you get there, great.
And we have Oikake Ricci coming. Oh, wait, no, that's. Never mind.
No, that's
the
we're getting
field,
the.
that's field of Ricci 6. Sorry, I got confused by the overlay.
And guys, look at this. Man, I want Doko. I guarantee you that's what he's thinking.
It would be funny.
Oh, and the dream's dead.
Oh. Boo.
Drawing all these
Definitely
pin
out of hand.
tiles, but not the right one. Needs the 3. This is actually a very nice H-Shuntin for Christie. Look for that 3, 4, 5 Sanshoku.
Yep. Oh, and there's another 3-pin, but it works too well in Claire's hand for her to be able to just toss
Yeah,
it.
that's the end of this hand. The 3-pin's dead now. The question is, does anyone have a chance to chase? And I mean, Christie, if you get anything, will do so. You could just go one so here. I think that's what I'd do.
And that looks like it's the play.
There's so many ways to turn this into something good. There's so much value. You don't really ever want to fold that. And it's not a dealer Ricci. It's the West player here. technically expands the Ishanten there. You can use the 6 or 7 mana as well to get Tempai. Now you have to call this. The problem is you're just scared of that 6, but you see so many of the 5s, including the red one here. Wait, is that all of them? Yeah, it's safe. 6 is safe. This should absolutely be a cheat cut 6-pin. I think it's a mistake passing it.
Yeah.
You
I
actually had
believe
a
that would
comment.
have also
All
been
4
Senpai,
of the 5-pin
right?
were visible, and the 9-pin was discarded. So at this point, you're just talking, it only deals into Tonki or Shampon.
The only thing I could think of is that Christy doesn't want to lose her placing because she is placing above Claire technically, even if it is.
Well, 24,000. You're going to need points.
I said technically. Technically, you are above Claire.
And now there's your 6. So you just slam it now. The 6-pin's still safe. You could even Dama this and hope 3-so comes right back out again.
And
Instead of
there's
going to
the
Ricci, you're waiting
Ricci.
on 3, 6-so. 3 is Sanjku. This is Ricci,
Is it going to be
Pinfu,
open?
Tanyao, Dora 2.
And no, it looks like she's going to keep it closed. Going to keep this one quiet. And a late Ricci like that should be scaring everyone because you don't take a late Ricci like that unless you have a good weight.
Yeah, and the other part is, I think that's actually, I mean, this feels heretical for me to say it. I think that is a Dama, just because the 3-so came out and the 6 is safe. To everyone else, it says you probably have a 5 in your hand anyway. But I think that's 6-pin is a just good discard normally. And if you're going to Ricci, go ahead and open Ricci, because you're not fooling anyone here.
And Claire looks like she could get rid of that 6-pin Anko now. I believe that takes her all the way to the end of the wall, so she's not going to deal in. It's going to be on Kevin to deal in or Chrissy or Michael to tomb. Or I guess they could deal into each other. But yeah, she's just going to cut that Anko, not even taking any other chances.
Well, there's the 6, so it is the cheap end. Ricci, Pinfu, Chanyao, Dora 2. No Aura, but will be a Mongon. Open Ricci would have been Hanuman, though.
Well, open Ricci technically would have been...
Would have been 6 Han.
No, it was a deal in by Kevin, was it not? Or no, that's Michael. Never mind. Michael's there.
Yeah, it's Michael.
Okay. So yeah, Hanuman.
But instead, we'll get the 8,000 and the Ricci sticks, and we'll jump into first either way.
And now that leaves Claire in last place and Chrissy in first, which is the least ideal case for the Falcons. But again, with Damien sitting so high at the other table, Falcons can rest at least a little secure. But again, anything can happen.
Now, Chrissy there pairs up the South, can call this. Also, the Dora. And I mean, that's good enough, especially with where you are in this game. It's South 3. There are only 2 hands left. You just want to be done with it. Claire with a pretty good hand here. Probably her first one of the entire match. Like, hey, that looks like a better than average hand.
Yeah, I was going to say last hand was probably the best hand that she's gotten, but like that now she can actually fight. And
it's very important, even when you're getting garbage hands, to be sitting here at 22-3. She's playing quite well. She's just not getting anything.
Right. Which kind of has been the story of the Falcons out since before we got our Talea hoodie. But yeah, especially since this is her last dealership, this has to be the time that she has to fight for, or at least to take over Christie, if she can. And I was wrong. I can't do math, and math is numbers read wrong. Claire's sitting at third, which is still not
because
ideal.
Michael had dropped below after that deal in. But Michael's hand, not really there. Chrissy's hand, middling, again, just needs the South. Like, once the South comes, you don't have to think too hard about the hand. You just go. But until then, Well, upgrade to Ishanten from Kevin. Not the one you wanted, because now you're looking at likely a Ricci Dora 1 as opposed to Ricci Itsu Dora 1.
I mean, it's still early in the hand, so things can improve. You can still draw the shape upgrade to get that Itsu.
Well, upgrades the Ishanten here. But the problem is we'll likely end up waiting on that Tuso. As we said earlier, waiting on the door indicator, not ideal.
Christy now confirms her pair, so she's even more free to call the south if it ever
Oh,
comes
okay,
out.
that's the upgrade Kevin's looking for. Now you can even call this for Itsu. The question is, Kevin, are you playing for first here? And the answer is, will the draws let him? Well, there's that other
that
south. Well, that
I
has to be
imagine.
called. You
Yep,
have to
there's the
call
call.
Goodness.
Still 2 away here, and kind of an awkward shape with the 1-3. So.
Yep, and she's gonna suffer from the same problem as Kevin, where she has to wait on the door indicator, which was probably never coming out of anyone's hand.
Reaching door summon door 4. So that'll be.
Well, I believe there are 2 on the wall, so it's always the in-demand tile. People say everyone always wants Dora, but generally the tile that's the most in demand is the Dora indicator because there's one less of it. Oh, well, that's a great upgrade. Now I can use the 2 or the 4. That's a lot better.
Yep, especially since the door is already confirmed and it's in the middle of that Yonkon, so that's the ideal shape that she wants.
Oh, interesting decision there by Kevin. Not playing it standard, just cutting the 5-pin, is just selling out on Itsu. But that's actually a much wider Ishanten if you just cut the 5-pin there.
It also
from
sets up the door
4-5-5.
trap for the door indicator if people...
Yeah, but I'll just say right now, do not trust Suji near Dora, just as a general statement.
Oh, and there's another door for Christy.
Well,
Now
that's going to
she
be the end
can-
of that, yeah.
I don't think it's
She's
ever going to happen,
there.
but she can now technically pull the door for a Mongun.
Ishanten for Claire. Still headless, though.
Yep, shape upgrade for Michael W. I believe that puts him into perfect Ishanten.
No, it hand's a bit of a mess. It's still two away and needs a 3.
All right, perfect
badly.
Ishanten. We'll compromise there.
Well, okay, so I guess that gets you to Tempai anyway. We'll go ahead and Richi here. If you cut the 5, you would not have gotten there. We'll take this Richi Itsu Dora 1 on Tuso. And Claire just looks like she's out.
Yeah, that's a real shame for Claire. She really needs these points. It's very thin margins for second and very thin margins for fourth at that.
Christy also appears to be out.
I don't know. I don't know about that 4-pin cut. I think I could have still hedged the 1-pin. It's
Even the
Suji,
previous
Criminal.
turn, I think the 1-pin Suji was fine with the 2-4 in the pawn. No, actually,
Right.
yeah, with the 2-4 in the pawn, I think the 1 was a fine discard. You could have worked your way back into it. But when you're just hard folding like this, she clearly has a plan not to deal in here. And she's not going to like take any risk from looks of it. Let's Ishanten for Michael. Can just call us down for Tanya Dora 2. And that is a 2, but it's not the one Kevin's looking for.
Yeah, I think the only one willing to fight this hand. Oh, maybe Christy thinks she can fight. I wouldn't, not with this hand, but
Well, the 6-mon's already come out, so the 9's not a dangerous push. Oh, well, that's tempting.
yeah, that is Tempai. No, it's not.
No, it's not. You'd have to cut a 6-5, probably. I think the 6 is safe, so I just cut the 6-mon.
You could definitely see the wheels turning in Claire's head. She really wants to push this hand now that she's
Oh,
got
yeah.
Eudora.
Well, the 7-pin also just came out.
The problem with cutting the 6-7 pin though is that you're stuck with the 5-6 mon, and that's going to be a real bad weight because you already have the Ipeco joined to it. But it looks like Claire might still have some fight left in her. Again, this being her last dealership, and being in third place, you kind of do need to fight, but you kind of have to do it safely.
Stand clear of the open reach.
And it looks like Michael W is going to open reach you this for a, if he could ever move his hand, 3/6 pin weight. So that's going to be openly. He had one Aka. Did he have Dora? I don't think so. Oh, he does have one Dora. So yeah, he's open re for a Mongon right now. And that 8-pin is Suji, but of course we already know that the 2-pin is Suji trap, so this is the wrong side of the Suji trap. So it's just a matter of how much does Claire want to fight right now. And it looks like she's out, especially with the Aka cut. That's how you hard folding out. Oh, and Christy draws the last... wait, no. Second to last Tuso. So there's one left for Kevin. Oh, and that feels so bad for Claire. She could have kept fighting with the 8-mon cut and just comes out now. Very unfortunate for her there. And we're getting to the last cuts. I believe Christy can safely cut the 8-pin. I'm just looking around the board. No, she can't. Christy is out of Gembutsu. So she just needs to not deal into Michael's weight, of which she's holding 3 of. 3-pin, I guess, or 3-mon is the safest, being that with 2 4-mons in her hand. And it looks like this one might just go to Ryukoku. Claire hard folds out, Michael W doesn't deal in, and Christy has a Gembutsu. So that's going to be 1,500 points each for Michael W and Kevin. And we go into all last with 2 Ricci sticks and a large Homba. So that's an extra 3,500 points on the board. Take it. Looks like Korak has lost power, so I'm doing this alone and no one can stop me from... Finally, this is my dream.
Not so
Oh
fast.
no, he's back!
Yeah, I had a temporary blackout in my area, so after reconnecting, unfortunately back.
Alright, well you didn't miss much. No one dealt in.
Okay, well I see a big home out there, so something happened. You see
Yeah,
Michael
what did
and
you
Claire
do?
very close
No
to
one
each
dealt
other.
in. So there was 2 Tenpai, 1,500 each for Kevin and Michael. Big home on the board. Claire wasn't Tenpai.
Chris with a decent hand here. Kevin with a good hand here. Just want to get something connected to that 5-pin Dora. The Aga 5. Ooh, potential Ipeco there for Claire. And Michael with a couple penchant, but you're really thinking that 79 Sanchoku.
Alright, assuming players are still aiming for first, Kevin only needs Chitoy Dora. Chitoy Dora 2 to take first. Otherwise, needs to direct hit Christy for any 3,000 point hand, so any 3-hunt hand will do. Claire needs Tsutsuma Hanamon, as well as Michael. They're sitting at the same point amounts, roughly. And
Well, if you're Claire, you're fine just getting second place here, honestly, especially with where the Falcons are now. Just a positive result is good enough.
Right.
Well, Michael pairs up the East and can now just go plan to call that and just be done with the hand. Maybe even cut 8-9. Instead, we'll cut the 3. So I actually don't like that one. That kind of hedges both the Sanchoku and the Tone. But I think you just get rid of your penchant. You don't like these Penchon shapes, you're gonna anytime you had a 7-8-9 Sanjiku, similar for the 1-2-3, you have a bunch of bad shapes and be desperate on calling things. So this is a really inefficient cut and just ultimately reliant on the East here.
Claire also gets another pretty good hand here. A very large soju shape, but it's just one hand too late. Her dealership is over. If she wants that second place, she needs to either hit Kevin for a 3-Han hand. No, with the home, I think 2-Han is enough.
Let's see. So there's 35 in the middle. It'd be 24-3. So yeah, 2-Han's good enough. Ishan 10 upgrade there for Kevin. Wouldn't be much value, but again, a positive second would be acceptable. Although, considering where Team Yakuman is now, he may just go for a lot more here.
I mean, yeah, again, you're sitting last place. If there's not really any hope for you, just, why not? Why not just have a little fun? The only thing you have to lose is your pride.
And yeah, there's the issue. Chrissy does end up cutting the 9-man later in the hand, and now just has this awkward mixed shape that's not even really Sanjiku. Yep. Now that's a great draw for Kevin.
Yep, especially given that Kevin almost drew from the wrong wall. So he got rewarded by Claire there, or no, Christy there, and getting the 4-pin in exchange.
Will likely just be Richi Dora 1, but pretty good Ishantan here. Oh, and there's a Dora pull for Michael. And just cuts the ease. Believes in the Sanjiku a lot more than the dealer wind here. But Christie also has that 79 Sanjiku, but has already cut an 8-mon. So then 7-9 is just...
Yep, definitely filled in the wrong Johnman over there. But a Tempai is Tempai, and any win gets her out of this game.
Well, that is not Tempai for Claire, but it's a very wide Ishan 10. And just gonna keep it. I think the tune there is much more efficient to cut, but maybe look for value. Okay, Michael does get there. Well, Dama here. Sanjiku Dora 1.
Yeah, I think Claire is still trying to play safe, especially because outside of winning second off of Kevin, her other win condition of taking third, and this isn't a bad third. Oh, there's the deal.
There it is, Sanjiku Dora 1. This is a Dama, so no, you don't get to look at that Oradora. Nice try, though.
Sorry, it's 77 plus 15, which is...
So that's 52. Oh, no, this is dealer. 77 plus the home. That's a 9,200 deal in.
Oh, sorry, you gave me...
Just take back the 200.
Yeah, I was going to say that her win condition was going to be Michael dealing into Christy's hand, but apparently now she needs to...
There you go.
I gave him some amount.
Yeah. Give him 8, right? Yeah.
And of course, Michael also picks up the 2 Richi sticks that were left in the middle and should jump all the way out to first place, I believe.
Yep, it's a very minor first, and... Actually, no, that's...
it's short by 300.
Yep. Keep forgetting about the big
home. Not quite there yet. Yeah, that big home buzz, very awkward.
Yeah,
but
especially now that there's
the Dama there.
Yeah, with two big home now, like, it's basically the same situation as last time. Last time, 3,500 in the middle, now it's just 3,000, and that comes out of someone else's pocket rather than being in Richi's stick.
Now, Chrissy has a middling hand. I mean, there's routes to Pinfu, but there's no value there. Dora is 4-mon. Kevin, I mean, that's just not a good hand. Anytime you have a 1-2 shape in Mon where the Dora indicator's the 3, just any type, I hate those.
Claire has a bad hand, but she
Claire looks to be going Kokushi or Chanta or something.
Let's go. I want to see this Kokushi. I want my captain to get the first Yakuman of the entire tournament. Oh my god. I hate looking at it, but I just love seeing it. Here, go for it.
I think you should, when you go Kokushi, you should almost always be hedging not towards Chanta, but specifically towards Honitsu. So I disagree with the very first discard of that 6-pin. I think the 2-mon would have made a lot more sense.
That's true. But we were playing last night, and our other teammate, Michael, who's currently on overlay, by the way, he lost his Kokushi chance after some honor got cut, I believe, and then got sushi instead. So anything can happen.
Well, Claire's getting close. That's 2 Shanten. Because you have 2
Shanten in the first
pairs
row
and
is
1
so
floating
good.
tile.
She needs west,
We're all
north,
staring for it.
and white.
West, east.
West, east, and white. Dragon.
Yes.
White Dragon is twice cut, however, so that might be a hard pickup for her. But if she can fill everything else out, then that's a surprisingly good weight. Then again, it should be obvious at this point that what she's doing. It's either Chitoi or Kokushi.
And especially when the 8-mon comes out, okay, it's probably not the Honitsu and Manzu either.
Oh, there goes the third Haku. So if Claire does get it, she either has to draw the Haku herself, or nope, it's in Kevin's hands. So Kevin's gonna have to deal it in.
And you're always in a very interesting situation when you have that 4th Kokuji tile, so you know it's dead, but you also don't want to tell the table that it's dead, because you want to incentivize the Kokuji person to be pushing into a bunch of stuff, and everyone else say, hey, your hand's fine, but there it
Nope,
goes.
he's just gonna toss it now. Kokushi's dead. Claire knows it.
Yeah, and you
now
immediately see Claire draw the 5. That's an Ishan 10 for Christie.
Yeah, we've been so excited about this Kokushi. We didn't even notice what's going on in anyone else's hands here.
Getting excited about a potential Gakumon? Never. A lot of upgrade the shape for Christie.
Yep, and that's a perfect Ishan 10 for her.
Well, you have the Henchon in there, so you're not guaranteed a good weight on the
Okay, let's
we'll need a 7-mon.
We'll compromise. And it
And
looks
Claire's like, let's just go. You know what? It's fine. We need Tempai
sure,
here, so we're just going to call what we can and see what happens.
Chun Chanta.
Don't even need Chanta. If using the Akka there, you're fine with it. Chud is your Yaku. Ew.
I mean,
so the 8-9. Okay, so the 8-9 is actually a really good cut here because if you draw 3 or 6, you then have Pinfu Ipeiko.
I mean, your weight is 1 so, and then any number in Manzu between 3 and 6. So yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, Claire finally gets that last tune, and she has Yaku now. Congrats. Michael W. also looking close to that Ipeiko. I think Christy felt weird about cutting that 9-mon there because she knows that Claire was going for Kokushi and she's not anymore, which only leaves Chanta left. So that makes those terminals a lot more scary. There's the tone that Claire wanted ages ago.
Well, of course, she called a couple times, so she wouldn't have drawn it anyway. There you go. Pinfu, Dora 3, possibly Peiko. Will you reach? I think Dama might be better here.
Definitely what you want. You just want to leave the stage.
Yeah, you just want to win. So yeah, just throw the 4 so you can Dama here. And actually, you don't want to reach because you don't want Michael to jump into first place. Waiting 3-6-mon for a monster.
And there's a good fill for Michael. He is, I believe...
Oh, that's another Dora. Do you Ricci the 5? Oh, I would love this. Ricci the 5 so. Wait on the Suji 1 so. That is so utterly disgusting.
So
I
funny.
love it. I would absolutely Ricci the 5-mon here.
Oh, she's thinking about it.
She's thinking long and hard about it.
She definitely sees that Suji trap. Oh, fingers on the 6-mon.
No, just doesn't want to throw Dora. He's dominating this. I really don't like this. Yeah, so we're thinking offensively. It looks like she was scared to throw it more than anything else. And there would have been the 3-mon.
I mean, you have to reach now, right? Like, it's been 2 turns. You still have the Suji trap.
No, she just doesn't want to drop that 1,000. The problem is Michael's dealer. So if Michael's Tempai, then you have another hand. And if Michael's not Tempai, you win because you get Tempai favors. The only way it's bad is if you deal into Kevin or Claire. And if you deal in, you drop anyway. The only situation where throwing the stick in actually hurts you is if Kevin or Claire deal into one of each other. And there's the
Riichi. It's Sumagiri if everyone's paying attention. But given
especially that long pause, you imagine it's a pretty bad wait. But Claire has tons of safety. You figure she had one of the ones, so the question is, where's the last one? And that's really what you're trying to bait out. And again, this is just the 5-mon 1-so. If you'd have reached it on the 5-mon, oh, never mind.
She just sumo. Okay, so she just
okay. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, reach it pot sumo Dora 4.
Ifatsumo Dora. Yep, that's an organic Hanuman, right? So.
And that's going to knock Michael down quite a bit, but going to have a 25-2 second. But Chris, you're going to be a huge winner here, especially in that Homba. Oh, yeah, the big Homba there is going to kick Christie to 46-5. Michael actually under starting score, but we'll end up with a small Uma bonus there. Clara the third there, and Kevin taking the last.
Yep, definitely not what I want to be seeing for the Falcons, but honestly, not the worst result overall.
Yeah, Falcons are certainly within range of Team Doroneko. So Doroneko looked like they were headed towards a positive second, but not too many points there.
Right.
And there is quite a gap to make up, but still will certainly be within range with 1 game to go.
Actually, no, that's only going to be minus 20, minus 25 points. So that brings us down to 120 points. Doroneko, for a minor positive second, that leaves them around 30 points. So Molsa would have to take an 80,000 point first, and us to go even to make up that score. So again, this could have been way worse for us.
Yeah, if Claire drops another 5,000 there in the 4th, it would have been worse. But Doroneko is definitely within striking range.
Yeah, it is.
It's not over.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate for Team Yakuman. They tried so hard, they just could never pick up the tiles that they needed, and it's just been the story of every game that they've been part of.
Well, dealing into a Dama dealer hand in South 4 will tend to ruin your day.
All right. If we have any scores to check in with for table 2, the gods in the sky can let us know now. Take a break and catch you all when the next game starts.
In my brain. Like, what sure of discarding first?
Sure, right, yes, of course.
When can I upload the picture? Just curious.
Not right now.
Because after the game.
Yeah.
Despite not having rituals, being that
All right, and we are back here, getting into game 2 of N League. Today, this match is going to be between the Sours, Doroneko, and the Penguins. For anyone that wasn't following along on the Penguins just took a really, really fat first, 95,000 points, and most of those points being taken off both the Opidopes and the Sours. Sours coming in last at negative 24,400 points, which, as you can see from the standings here, brings them and the Destroyers to a 1 point differential.
Yeah, it looked like there were some huge swings there. And actually, now we see a really big gap opening up between fourth and fifth, which is the cutoff we're talking about today.
Right, it's only a 90-point difference, and as we literally just saw from the table that we're coming off of, that's definitely surmountable. It's going to be a journey, but it's definitely doable. It's not impossible. All right, looks like players are ready. We're going to be leading off with from there for the Opidopes, Damien on the Penguins, and finally Melissa for Doroneko. And hands are coming up.
Way as your standard Pinfu hand, and I think that's two Dora. If that looks like a three Mondura indicator, so in that case, you're just looking for a way to go Tanyao. You have three pairs, you can consider Chicho. I think you just go straight efficiency with this. Chris with a few pairs as well, but that's one you start on the right side of the hand. It looks good, and then everything else is terrible.
Yeah, but just think, Kokshi, right? First,
Well,
okay, no,
not if
he's
you're
not gonna
counting
put.
nine set to begin
Ah,
with.
boring. Boo.
Damien extends that to a nice little Sun Menchan shape. He's geared to some honors, but a very good starting hand. And Melissa has an East pair, can probably call this down, can accept the four Mondora if it comes. But Wei seems to clearly have the best hand here.
Yeah, definitely. Chris just still not getting the draws that he needs. I think this is just a simple 9. I guess Sha also works. Damon gonna pair up that one so to fill in the you
Yeah,
don't
that's a
get.
great draw. You just cut your honors here and your Ishanta now for Ichi Pinfu Dora 1 or 2, because you will have that 1-4-7 shape you're missing, and the 4 being Dora.
Oi's hand doesn't seem to be moving much. Chris pairs up the 8 Mon. That's not really the pair that you want. You really want to pair up so you can start calling in your hand, or at least
Chris really
get
just
another
hedging
pair and go into
G-Toy at this
G-Toy.
point. Dame, you're not going to keep the floating 5. You just decided this. The hand is what it is, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Melissa seems to just be very comfortable going straight efficiency, cutting her terminals really quickly. She only has the 2 honors, and it's the 2 honors that she wants, the Yakuhai Ton.
And Chris pulls another pair up, so that's 4 of them there as well.
The 3 so cut from Damien, I'm not entirely in love with it. I think you could have still cut the honor and hedged and try to fill in your these kind of 2 overlapping Nobaton weights and then still be able to wait on the Pinfu, but it's not the worst cut either.
Nah, I'm fine just throwing it. The safety isn't that important, but I mean, the hand is what it is at this point. You're going to need the 6-9 so, and you need the 1-4-7. Was a tile on the wall that was revealed, but it's going to be quite a ways away. And Way sees there's a definite Chi-Toy route, but not going to have anything to do with it. I might have just cut 9-pin.
19
Speaking of
makes sense.
Chi-Toy,
And that looks
Chris,
like,
now he's Shanten.
yep, I do know Chris does really like his Cheetor hand, so I think we're definitely going to see that out of him. Damien draws one of the Ton, going to toss it back, I imagine.
It's not called by Melissa. Probably not really liking the rest of her hand.
No, and that's just kind of the way Melissa is. Sometimes she'll wait until it's the last one that the last Yakurai that gets cut for actually calling. She likes to keep her hands very men's. She likes to reach a lot. So I'm not all too surprised. I'm just disappointed.
Now, Damien is. This is always the problem. The closer you're to Tempai, the less tiles you have that improve your hand. And Ishanten Hell is called such for a reason.
And that's kind of the reason why I didn't like that 3-so cut earlier. It just extends your Ishanten just a little bit. It's not by much, but sometimes it can matter.
Well, there you go. Easy
And
slam.
that's
6-9
easy.
so. Reach pin Foodora 1. Chris doesn't like that 1. He's still Ishan 10, but you're going to have to push multiple bad tiles. He also throws the 1. Figuring if it does deal in, it's on the cheap side anyway.
Yeah. And Melissa's going to fold out with the Tom. Probably wants to hedge more towards Pinfu if she does want to get Tempai. Otherwise, that's a fine way to fold.
Oh, well,
And
that's the rules of Cheat Toy. You will draw and discard pairs. And Demian misses. It's the 7 so. Of course, way down the 6-9. Kevin with early Mongot on the other table.
And now, hopefully, trying to set up that Suji trap for the Naimon if he ever gets Tempai, but it's still pretty far away getting the second row. You already have a Ricci on the table.
Wei has so much value here. Just looking for any excuse to call at this point.
Ooh,
Well,
that is
that's
not what
another
I want to see. It's the wrong
another
way.
show tile. It's the wrong one.
And now Melissa has to make the decision of whether she wants to fold or she wants to push the once cut tune. This is kind of a hard
I
push.
think you should just fold. I'd cut the 1-1. It's safe. There were
Yes,
other tiles that were pushed earlier. That's like if you're not cutting the 1-1 immediately, leaving the east as a way to get a Yakuhai out of it, you should just fold out. If you make your decision early, stick with it. Especially if you don't back into like Ishanten.
Oh, and there's one of the Naimons that Damien needs, and yeah, Melissa just folds out immediately. She knows that she's going to deal in if she continues to push this hand.
Yeah, 9 so is really bad. There's a 6
Oh, and
so.
there's
That's
another
really
one that's
bad.
saved.
Well, we found where they were on the wall. Oh,
So
comes right out, and that'll deal in. Richie Pin Fudora 1. Any or will turn this to a Mungon.
Noah, so that's just
Nope.
going to be simple 3,900 points.
Nothing fancy, no big homba, and we just move on to East 2.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most straightforward hand that we've seen all night so far.
This would be Chris's hand at least once I can see it.
See, 3 honors, 2 of them Yakuhai. We got a pair of the Sixo, and
That's
not
bad. That's
This is
bad.
not what you want to see on a dealership.
It's like it
Yeah.
looks mediocre. Maybe there's something there, and you see the resident. No, it's just bad. So when you're looking at a hand like that, what's your thought?
Yeah, these are just all bad shapes. Like, what are you gonna do with this hand? You just gotta kind of hedge towards the Dora, which I believe is going to be pay.
Yeah, North will be the door. Melissa has one of them, but the rest of the hand, not terrible, not great. Hey, so a nice fill there for Wei. Now, this is the corollary to Ishantenel. The further away you are from Tempai, the more tiles help your hand.
You'd think. Look, the hand is so bad it can only get better, which makes it a great hand, right?
Famous last words.
Looking around, Wei probably has the best hand, but it's not by much.
I agree with that. Wei's hand is workable, especially now you have that Aka in Manzu with a 3-5. Damien could get to Tempai faster. Looks like you will be to Tempai faster now, Ishanten.
And Chris finally manages to pair up the Hatsu, but I think it's a little too late right now. He's still very far away from Tempai. Even if
Yeah,
he
the
does
one
call
show
that,
doesn't do anything. The 9 doesn't do anything. The question is, you just call and go, and the answer is probably.
I mean, you're the dealer. It's one of your dealerships. You kind of gotta at least try to protect it, especially if no one's showing any open hands or any like large pushes at this stage in the game.
Damien upgrades to a possibly Peiko on 7-pin draw.
Melissa draws pair of her own wind, pair of Sha. One of them's still in. One of them's the door indicator, so she's just waiting on the last one if she wants to call it at all. Which she might.
Chris is like, this hand's so bad, if I don't call, it doesn't finish. So I think this is a good move.
Still keeping that door around in his hand too, hoping to pair that up as well and try to give the hand some value. But with one of them already in Melissa's hand, it's going to be kind of hard to get, especially if she doesn't want to cut it.
Now let's look at his hand. He's what doesn't fit? And he answers the 3-mon's really the only floater other than the Dora.
And that's not the worst pickup for Chris. It does mean that if he wants to keep it, he has to cut Dora, but he opts to keep the Dora instead, which I think is a smart move with a hand this bad.
Yeah, I might have kept the 8 so for safety, maybe cut the 6-pin there.
And Melissa's hand slowly moves slightly forward. She still doesn't want to cut that door, again for the same reason that Chris doesn't. It just gives too much value in a hand
Or
that
giving
otherwise has
value.
none.
I don't know. Let me in on your secrets. Chris,
And there's
we'll move
another
to
call from
Ishanten
Chris.
here.
So likely he goes Atazuke for Hatsu and Stixo.
Interesting choice here for Damien. He can keep the Ipeco hedge, or he can take a wider Ishanten, and we'll keep the Ipeco hedge. Melissa's hand isn't budging. I mean, the shapes are here, but it's getting to the point you really don't want to throw that door anyway.
Right. Especially when you have a dealer calling and none of the. You really don't want to be the one to.
Well, you're also at this point considering there are two possibilities. Either everyone has a pay, and then if I throw it, everyone else immediately advances their hand, or someone's sitting there waiting for it. The question is if there's someone waiting for it, Tempai or not. The answer you'd figure not likely. Also, Kevin rolling on table 2.
Oh wow! So oh my god! Already? It's only East 2. How do you get that in East 2?
I think that's called a good dealer turn because you consider his position is second, so he is currently on a run. That was like a bunch of sumos and one Mongon Christie. I think the Dora has to come out here.
I think he's hedging towards Toy Toy. Were the other two calls puns? I already forgot.
No, I'm pretty sure they were cheese. So I'd keep the extra tile acceptance there and just cut the Dora. This is about the time when you need to check it.
Yeah,
But if
you
you're
are
not
the
throwing
dealer.
it now, like when are you throwing it? And
Yeah,
I
we've
mean,
already seen
Melissa
it come
got
out
rid
of
of it.
Melissa's hand as well. So I guess you could argue that he's keeping it for a safe tile, but you're the dealer. You can't really afford the safe tile. You need to push.
Well, let's just look at this pawn. This hand was never going to be anything.
Yeah.
And I don't like
911,
just flat out folding from here.
Yeah, I think I would have cut the Sha Sha. It basically only deals into Kokshi. But I guess if she wants to still try and bring this hand home, she could call Sha Pon and then try to continue to push. But into this kind of dealership, I wouldn't want to.
Well, there's a Haku pair for Damien. Could actually cut 6-8 pin is what I would do. Oh, but you have that 4-10 with the 9, so that's the problem. So seeing that says, you know what, let's not go potential 4-10 on Suzuki. Could be really bad. Well,
Okay,
I mean,
now you
Formon
have
is
to
the
cut Dora.
normal
You have to
cut.
cut Dora, Chris. Like, what else? What is the door going to do for you? Oh my god. Chris, please. I love you. You need to think about your efficiency.
Well, that's Tempai. It is Ipeco Dama on 7 pin.
All right, and quick inventory check. We got one on Melissa, none in the river. I believe Chris is also holding none, so that leaves 3 for Damien.
Chris just isn't, this hand isn't budging.
He's trying so hard.
Well, he's trying hard, but he's getting so greedy for a hand that just doesn't justify it. Especially that 4-4-5 shape, not throwing the 4. I really don't understand
Yeah,
that
you
one.
have to take that perfect Ishanten.
Well, you don't even have to take the 4-4-5. You can cut the 4 mod and then float the Dora, but it is you're guaranteeing a Shampoo final weight.
I mean,
Now
yeah,
that 6 pin doesn't actually fit in this hand. You'd have potential Furry 10 because it'd be a 6-9 pin 9 so weight. You see 2 of those in the bond, so we'll just throw it back. Nishan 10 for Melissa.
right,
Or
but I don't
rather,
think
already was, but a
she
much
really
easier
doesn't
one.
want it. She's still Ishanten at the end of the second row. This is the point where I'm really thinking that she's going to fold, and yep, there goes the 8 mon.
Yeah, I think I'd throw the 9 anyway. You could pawn this for Tempai payments later. But now you've locked in that pen shot, and it's very hard to get to anything here. There's the Sumo.
And
Sumo Ipeco.
should be 501,000.
Yeah, boring hand. Nothing particularly fancy about it. The 7 pin, it was probably a little worried about it because you don't see any there on the right for Melissa. So there's a good chance she's holding one of them just with that pawn. So the 7 pin looked really bad. I mean, I'd still Ricci, but I mean, I'm Korak. I always tend to say Ricci.
All right, one Pandora coming into East 3.
Now, speaking of
Damien's got
one
one.
Pandora, there's one of them. The problem is the rest of the hand doesn't really use it very well because it's not a Yakuhai callable hand. It's just a Pinfu hand. Maybe a 79 Sanjiku. Well, okay,
Yeah,
never
well,
mind.
yeah, it
That
pairs up
changes
the
it.
Hatsu, so that definitely improves things. You
You
got 2
just
down
cut
men.
north and you go. You don't even think very hard about a hand like this. This is a call and go. The only decision will be if the 1 pin doesn't pair up or even connect anything, at what point you just drop it.
Are you a believer of dropping Dora early or late? I usually like dropping Dora early. I usually don't believe in Dora that coming to my
I am
hand.
a huge advocate of the best weight known to mankind, Dora Tonki.
All right, Melissa finishes off her Ryanman. She's got pair Haku, which, knowing Melissa, she's probably not going to call until it's the last one.
No, the problem with not calling the first one when you have a Yakuai pair like that is, you know, you even see the first, that second one is so often in the dead wall because you're looking for one tile. Nice little fill there of the Ryoncon for Davian.
And setting
Oh,
up
just
that,
draw it yourself. Well, that's the other end. It could be the dead wall and it can be your next draw. Way now, 2 away. One Pandora fits into Chris's hand. The rest of the, it has 2 Penchon, 1-2 now, so not great, but I guess it's usable.
not great, but if he does draw the 3-pin, then it opens the door for that 4 to take over and have Pinfu, but again, the rest of the shapes are just not great. And it looks like
Looks like
Kevin's
Christie won a hand, probably a sumo. Not that big, but so I see some big homebay in there. So
And now Damien draws the 3-pin to connect to his 1-pin, but he did cut the 4-pin earlier, so he doesn't get the shape upgrade, but he still gets to use the Dora, and all things considered, I think he's going to be happy about that.
now Chris now pairs up the tune, can just call and go with this hand. Still technically had those, but this just feels like it's headed toward Dora-Tonki weight.
Yeah, and it's probably the worst dragon on the board. It's once cut, so again, we might see a dead walled tune, but you never know.
That doesn't really fit. The 4-so doesn't fit either. I think I'd throw the 6 just because my upgrades kind of mess the hand up.
Yeah, and if you do get that upgrade, then I think the next cut, or the next logical step, is cutting 2-mon, 1-mon, and getting rid of that Penchan.
Yeah, but you're going to be the overlap on the 3-pin. You're going to need 2 of them. Doesn't hedge Itsu, which I probably would here. I'd cut 6-pin for sure there.
Yeah. Bad hand, just to go for value, because what else are you going to do with your life?
Your value is either Dora-Tonki or it's just Itsu, something with Ricci. So I think just keeping this awkward 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 6 shape is really awkward.
Yeah, Melissa finds her way into Kutsuki Ishanten. I believe she just needs to find a head.
Damien with this ugly 6-block hand.
It was
Just yeets the Dora. With the early 4-pin cut, I don't hate that. Plus, it also just checks Dora.
yeah.
Melissa currently Ishanten, really like a 6-pin. Oh, just draw it yourself. Easy, Ricci. I mean, there's no reason to do anything else here. Ricci
And there
waiting
it
on the
is.
3-mon.
The hand that we thought was the worst is the first to get Tenpai.
Now, I said needed the 3-pin. Just draw it yourself.
Oh.
That'll fix things.
Backfire from Damien, drawing the other Dora. Could have paired that up and have a very nice Mongon for himself, but
And Melissa's going to push the Suji 9. Does keep the Ishanten here. Wei, on the other hand, has a much messier hand. Looks like he's just pushing, though. And that 1 came out. The next tile that would come out logically would be the 3-mon from that shape, and that would deal in. Damien appears to be giving it up. Oh, no, that's a 2-mon that would come out, so that would be safe.
yep, Melissa doing her favorite thing in the world.
This is the 3-mon I was talking about.
Yep, and that Haku draw is very dangerous. You don't see any of them out because, of course, they're in Melissa's hand. But, it just doesn't feel good pushing. And he does it anyway.
Well, there's another Dora.
There's Dora that gives Damien another turn of safety.
Yeah, Damien's just, nope, thank you very much. And the other thing is now there's incentive for everyone to start pushing because you're just seeing a bunch of the Dora.
Yep, so that's 3 on the board. Wei has 1 Akka in his hand. Melissa has an Akka in her hand. And Damien yeeted 2 Doras. So, yeah. So everyone at this point should see how valueless Chris's Ricci is, and I think they have options to push. Melissa draws one of Damien's Hatsu, and that's a very scary tile to cut now.
Well, it's not just you have to cut that, you're also going to have to cut that 2-mon as well.
Yeah, I think she's going to fold out Haku, and yep, there it goes. So Melissa has bought herself 2 turns. Wei's still pushing a little bit.
Well, there's the 6 Mon, so now the 3 is Suji. So I imagine if Wei gets anything, that'll get shoved. If you're Melissa, you just go Haku Haku. If you make the decision on the first one, no messing around.
Yep, it's not even like you could pull that back into Tempai.
I
You
imagine this
said
is
Haku,
the
you
in.
made your commitment.
You might cut the
Oh
7,
no!
but
This is
yeah,
a
like
disaster.
now with the 6 having come out, you just deal it, I think. There it is, Riichi door 1. No, or 2600. You're not that. That's not that bad a deal, and you're fine with that. It's been annoying. You dealt into third place when you're in fourth, but that could have been a lot worse. And you need to be playing for value here in Tempai payments. Again, it was a Suji since the 6 had just come out.
And you saw 3 Dora come out. Like, again, you know it's not really all that valuable, so.
Yeah, like that's about, unless it's some dumb cheat toy with a bunch of hidden stuff in there, and even then, it can't be the 1 pair. So that's about as expensive as it's going to get if he doesn't do it, or and he didn't.
Yeah, Melissa looks like she's got some upper Pinzu, but otherwise, hand doesn't look all that remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, you'd love to pair up the East, just get the double East, not worry about it. Can accept a Dora 8 Mon. Actually, the hand looks a little bit better the more it gets organized. Way similarly with a hand it's not bad. Again, these are above average starting hands. That's another above average starting hand. You just have an
I
awkward
actually
2,
really like
5,
this
5,
one.
8 shape.
You
This is
have...
one where I almost just want to hedge Chinitsu in pin.
Oh, you want to hedge Chinitsu? No, I want to use that Akka. I know Chinitsu's way more valuable. It's red.
I mean, there can be a red in pin as well.
Yeah, but you could also why not both? Por qué no los dos?
Oh, well,
Look,
so much for
there's
that
another
plan.
red.
Well, now I'm all on board with your plan.
So yeah, I think Chris definitely has my favorite hand of this hand. Everyone else just kind of seems to be circling around their trash cuts right now.
Malay kind of hedging Chitoy here. Has 2 Dora. Although at the same time, you just want to call a go for Tanya if possible. Now that actually upgrades this hand because you have an
Ooh.
Ishanten. You should cut 2 on here. There's a potential Ipeco Dora 2. Would have to get the 8 Mon Dora for it, but hey, to get Template, good enough for me.
Yeah, and Ricci brings that up to Mungon. So if he could get on to a good weight.
Well, if you draw the 3 pin, then you're actually waiting 6, 7, I believe. I mean, your other option is draw another 8 Mondora and then just discard the 7, and you'd be sitting there with your Peiko Dora 4.
Oh, that'd be funny. And Ricci would bring that up to Hanuman. Chris, please. Draw correct tiles. Of course, there is only 1 8-mon left, so he'd have to pull the last one out of the wall.
Well, that's actually a really interesting draw.
Yep.
The most efficient is just cutting the Dora, but we'll instead push the 7 pin. Try and greed for some extra
Chris
value.
is going to be greedy. He's going to want every door that comes into his hand.
Interestingly, yeah, okay. So I'm trying to figure out, yeah, if that 8 Mon comes out, it probably gets pawned. Just pawn and cut the double west and move for Tanya.
Of course, calling that would also mean that Wei's Nagashi Mangan.
Well, you're in row 1. I'm not even thinking about that here.
That is the cry of the non-believer, correct?
You're correct. And Wei's going to lock in the pair there, the 8 Mondora. Chris still in that awkward shape. Well, that's an improvement. That's Tempai, Ricci, Pinfu, Dora 1, waiting 1 4 so.
It's starting to look at least humbly like the last game that these guys played, with Damien taking everyone's points.
Melissa keeping the hand, not really folding. Five's kind of a semi-push here.
Yep. We're seeing one in Way's hand, I
Well,
believe.
okay. That is Tempai.
Ooh,
I mean, you
that's
obviously
Senpai. Do you
slammed
take it
this one.
though?
Yeah, you're
I would
reaching the
take it. You have
free.
You have three door.
No, this is Sononko. This is Sononko door
Sanko Dora
3.
3. You see three
Oh,
door. He's with the
Gama waiting on
Gama.
the 6-9 mod.
Sanko Dora 3. That's Mongun. I would reach you that for the weight's good enough.
Well, I'd have to see the pawn of the. Oh, waiting on the Gimbutsu 6 mod, I think. Oh, that's the 3 you were looking for the entire hand. This could have been Suonko Tempai.
No. I think the Sanko is fine. You lost enough points tonight to dream. Of course, that means I'm going to eat my word 3 turns where he draws another. Oh, and there's the deal in from Melissa.
Reach pin Fudora 1, any Ura will make it a Mungon, and that's not it. So we'll just be the 3,900.
Yep. Positions are maintained, but margins widen ever so slightly.
Well, the thing is, Team Doroneko really needs points, and that's going to be one dealership left. This is the team that's right under the cut line right now. They need a huge first here and probably a little bit of help, and just not getting there. We'll have one more chance, of course. Wei is now dealer in South 1. Shows a decent hand here, just not much value.
Chris's hand finally starting to look up.
I don't know. I thought the last hand was pretty good he had.
I mean, so did I, and he got Tempai, but what are you gonna do? Someone else wrong. You don't participate, you don't get points, but like you had a good hand.
Melissa has a very good mon shape. 333 555 89. Wade is sitting here with the Hatsu pair, probably just pull and go. As dealer, especially in fourth place, dealer, you just want to win the hand. No, that's a perfect draw
Oh,
for
what a good
Melissa.
fill for Melissa.
Fills the third shape in Monzu. That 7 is a very interesting tile because it does give you a possible Ipeco and a lot of flexibility in that upper.
Yeah, but if you take the
so shape.
Apeco if you take the Apeco, then you don't have a head.
Damien's also just sitting there staring at the 2-7 so in his hands. So that'd be a little hard. Melissa upgrades to Ishan 10. Wei still looking for the Hatsu and it's just not anywhere. And Chris is still just Ishan 10.
Yeah, I wouldn't take that Audion, man. You just cut the one
Yeah.
and go.
Well, it's because your rest of your shapes are bad, but does cutting the penchant even really help you here? Oh, it's an Onko of the 6-pin here, so Wei has some different routes here.
Yep, and Chris still can't find completed shapes in the Manzu that he needs.
Well,
Or
you
even
need
the upgrade.
specifically the 3-mon and the 6-mon. Of course, either of them will just get you to Tempa and then you just slam the button. But until then, it's very difficult to draw one of two specific tiles.
I mean, if you draw the 6-mon, or you immediately slam, you draw the way to turn.
Oh, well, now you have a Ryoncon. I would definitely cut the 7 so here.
No, Chris, don't do one mon. That steps you back. What are you doing?
Yeah. So the idea of keeping he's just gonna break the Ishanten. The only problem with cutting the 7 so is it does lose you any way to use Dora, but honestly, with a hand like that, like I don't see what else you're gonna do with it. Well, just pair up the 2 mon then. You're still Ishanten.
Yep.
But yeah,
And
you're gonna end up this potential Shampoo 2 mon 9 so, which isn't great.
yep. And the two
And
nine.
there's your 2 mon. It's
Yeah.
dying.
Ooh.
Yeah, 2 mon is dead.
Yep.
The 9 so, yeah, you
And
just go
Melissa's
over
gonna
the 9
fill her
so.
hanchan.
That's gonna be a Ricci. And Wei all of a sudden reconsidering. I was like, maybe this wasn't a great decision, but oh, well, that fixes this hand nicely. Now Ishanten has the Hatsu.
Yep. And it looks like Melissa is pay Tonki on her.
Best Tonki.
Absolutely my favorite. I will find any excuse to pay Tonki.
Oh, Wei just gives up.
And now Chris is also looking a bit nervous. There aren't a lot of Sozu out in Melissa's pool, so that one so cut is kind of sketchy there.
Damien can take Ishanten for Chitoy, cutting 4 mon here. Instead, we'll just kind of fold out.
Actually, the only thing that we know for certain, for anyone that can't see everyone's hand, is that Melissa does not want Pinzu, and that's about it.
We have a
All we know.
Tempai. Chris could reach. He will only
And
be
he's gonna
waiting on the
Ochake,
9
is he gonna
so. The
open?
2. No,
Nope,
I
he's
don't
not
think you
opening.
open this one. So this is technically a 2 mon 9 so, but the 2 mon is dead. So it's just the 9 so.
Yep, and given that one pay is already out in Damien's pool, that makes their weight about even.
It is even. It's 2 versus 2. Of course, you see Melissa with a much more valuable hand there. And Wei will get down to Tempai now, 3-sided, 4, 5, 7. Now the 4 pin just came out. I just throw the 7 here. We know it would deal in.
Right, but I think Damien's a little bit too conservative for that. He wants to be safe. So I think we're gonna see that. Ooh, that's so bad if you're Melissa.
And it
That
does
feels
deal
so
in.
bad.
And that is the expensive end. Well, I guess it's the same because you have the 1 mon pulled in there.
Right, but it is the Aka, so
Yeah, that is dealer Haku Dora 1 should be 39.
8 plus 2, yeah. That's still exactly 30 fu.
Well, no, you have the Hatsuanko, you have the 1 mon pulled, and then the Tonki there.
Oh,
So that's
right,
what?
he's Oya.
16?
Okay,
Yes.
understood. And we're finally seeing our first big home of Table 2 here in South 1.
Leia has a Pinfu hand, kind of a messy one there. Haku is Dora, does have one of those. But I just hand full of floaters, floating honors, floating mid tiles. It's one of those hands just annoying to play.
Yeah, you just spend the entire first row getting rid of your trash and just hoping that something golden on
Exactly.
the other side.
Okay, this looks like a possible hand here. The show shapes are there. 3 so would be really nice, but honestly, with that hand, I'm really hoping for the Itsu in so. Melissa, though, that looks like the best hand.
Yep,
Especially when you are north. Just, yeah, Honitsu. You can call the north, you can call the east. It doesn't really matter here.
Yep, way hanging on to that north longer than I'd expect him to.
And Damon's just looking at all these disgusting floaters, going, "What do I do?"
All right, Melissa gets another non-suited tile. Very good. Up. Way still trying to get rid of trash.
And if I'm looking at this with Chris, I want to cut the 2-so, 8-so, and figure I'm going to end up likely folding. No, it technically connects. Yeah, you don't really need the safe tile
Yeah, but
here.
it's still another bad weight if he ever gets in Tempai.
Well, okay. So, Melissa, do you believe in Honitsu or do you
Oh,
believe
she believes.
in
She believes.
Suwanko? Gives up the pair of 2-pin.
I mean, the real test for Swanko is whether or not she can draw pay before Wei cuts.
Well, that's a nice little shape upgrade. You should cut the 3-mon here normally. You don't really like the 1-2 Penchon, but it's better than a floater. And that's a nice upgrade to
And that's
Chris.
still.
Technically Ishan 10, but you don't really like it. Well, with a 2-4-6-8 shape, you figure you're likely only getting one block out of it. So you do a hedge towards the pick. Oh no, it
Oh
was
no, there's the
Suwanko!
Onko! Oh,
That was the last 2-pin. Made the decision because one of those is already discarded, but managed to find the last one in the wall. Ouch. Now, Carter's going to cut the 8 here. This does allow you some options. Now you have a pair there. You could just call down for Tanya.
yeah, and it looks like Damien's already doing that. He got rid of the 1-so earlier, which was connected to the 2-so, and getting rid of the 1 Mon now. So I think he just wants to call Tanya and just be done with his hand.
Well, the thing about a cheap Tanya hand is, again, big Holmba. We keep talking about it, but it makes those cheap hands not so cheap. Here, do more than double the value of this.
Yeah, I mean, but you're still doubling cheap. It's like I until the Holmba says 2, like I don't think with 1-0 or 1 Holmba is that big
There's
of
a
a difference.
backfire for Damien. Oh, wait, no, you just cut the Forza. Yeah,
Yep.
there you go.
And Melissa is having trouble drawing any Monsoon turn. Way's still hanging on to that pay. Maybe he's also trying to hedge towards a Monsoon.
Ooh, that's an interesting tile. I think you just have to cut the 5-so at this point. Take your wide Ishan 10.
No, he's gonna take.
No, he wants
Diamond
Tanya.
there.
He's not like hard selling out of Tanya, but he wants Tanya.
Oh, and there's
Well, that's the
finally a Monsoon
4-7.
for
Okay,
Melissa.
you should not con this. You absolutely should not con this.
No, absolutely not.
You should cut the
Judging by
west
the
and the
field, I think
Hatsu.
Hatsu is the best cut. She's gonna cut
Yeah.
Sha instead.
Well, the Hatsu is still a safer tile at this point, but I think I'd go Hatsu as well.
And there goes Pei. Is Melissa gonna call? She does.
Yeah, it has to be a call.
Absolutely. And now she
And
is
let's see.
Senpai
Yeah, that's
on
Senpai waiting on
8.
8-mon. And Wei has a very loose 8-mon in this hand.
By the same token, you already know that Melissa. So I don't think that 8-mon is gonna be all that loose.
Okay, Chris now gets to the Tanyao, still Ishan 10, but guarantees it with that shape.
Yep, and all the 8-mon are actually accounted for. So Wade is kind of dead. Unless Wei thinks that he could get away with cutting it. I don't think he should be.
Well,
but
he did.
I eat my words. Melissa gets her Hoitsu. Hoitsu pay that should only be.
Yeah, that should just be the 30. So 39 plus 1,500 is 5,400. Because you have the concha. So yeah, this is the exactly 30 food. Because you get the 4 and then the Anko for the 4 and the Kanchan. But because East is not a Yakuai pair, it doesn't get to 40 food.
Yep, and just like that, Melissa's back into this game, and she's still on the back foot, but she could still make that comeback to.
All right, we are in South 2. Chris's dealer here. Looks like kind of a middling hand. Real hoping to hair up one of those Yakuhai and probably call here. Dora appears to be 1-mon.
Yep, and Chris, there we go. Chris remembers to draw his first tile. Very important. And yeah, that one pin's not doing anything for that hand. Maybe you could like hope for the 1-2-3 Sanchoku. That's pretty unlikely.
Damien with a Chun pair, probably just call and go here. Melissa with a pin food type hand, gonna hedge Itsu here with a 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Way with a pretty standard pin fu hand here. 3, 4, 5 Sanchoku potential. Oh, that's a great floater. Yeah, I could hold that 6 pin for now. So in this situation, you're normally supposed to cut the south because you can't use it as a double south, but someone else can.
Right.
Well, it does change that 1, 2, 3, 4 into a completed shape and a penchant.
Yeah, it's not my favorite shape. I think I would have preferred if it wasn't for the.
Yeah, if you didn't have the
Right,
otters, you just throw it back. But I think as is, you should keep it. That's a messy so shape. What is that 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 9.
Yeah, Wei has not been getting the high pies that he needs out of these. Not that he needs good high pies. He's sitting.
Well, that's an interesting draw. Does probably just push you towards Tanyao. But we've been saying it the whole time.
Itsu.
Team Doraneko needs value.
Yeah, I like the Itsu play here.
Yeah, it's one of those you keep the options open for both. That's why the tile came out. Damien has just been looking for the Chew to call and go, but there's no calling and no going. Another pair up for Melissa. Doesn't do much there. Wei's hand just stuck. Well, there's the tune.
There's Shun. It comes out. I imagine Damon's going to call here. There he goes.
Also, that's a very much a thank God it finally came
Yep,
out.
he could finally get rid of that penchant that's been hanging around in his hand for. And now we'll
Melissa
have to
just
choose whether or not she wants that Itsu or not.
no,
But
she
looks
just
like
wants
she's going for
Tanya.
town now.
The other problem with that 2-2 4-mon shape is that 1-mon is Dora. So if anyone ever reaches, you're going to have to break that shape up most likely, and you're not going to be happy about it. Oh, there's the backfire for Damien. Cuts away from the penchant and immediately draws the 3.
That's Mahjong. And Wei just trying to find any. Oh, well, I guess he completed the shape. Finally.
He's planning on the 3, 4, 5 Sanchoku. Ooh, that's a really interesting shape.
That's nice. I think you cut the 1-mon here.
No, 1-mon's Dora. We cut 6 pin.
All right, Dora. Dora exists.
And we have a team name who's named Dora Neko.
Yeah, but they only have one Dora. They can't even live up to their name.
I mean, cons will fix that.
Well, Melissa had the chance to con last hand, and she didn't do it. She shouldn't have done it, but she didn't
No,
do
she
it.
won, so that's at least something. And that's why you
Oh.
don't throw the one bond. Nice little Ishan 10 there with some real value for Chris's dealer. And Damien just stuck in this Ishan 10. Actually likes the one pin. That may just be a safe tile, though.
Yeah.
And that's a fill there for Melissa. Now Ishan 10. And that's a
And
Dora for away.
Dora.
So I think that's the end of this hand.
At this point, you just cut Haku. You start folding out.
He's folding. 3 feels
So
like
it's-
fold.
I guess.
Yeah,
There's
he's
no
like, I'm
Luigi's
not
on the
going
board and only 2
Sanchoku.
calls.
Yeah. And that's getting rid of your more dangerous tiles early rather than letting them sit around.
Right.
Well, that is temp by 5-8 Mon. Oh, he just look. Well,
And
that's
that's
a
another
Dora
Dora
pair.
for
So now
way.
you just back. Okay, I guess we're back in business now. No, not Arichi. Oh, just Sumo on the expensive one.
Oh my god, Damien, please. So that's Toon Dora 1.
Dora one, yeah, just 500, 1,000. But extends his lead and will be dealer in South 3. Is rewarded with another middling hand. Not good, not bad. 7 Mon is Dora. This is another one of those hands that's not that far from Tempai, but the shapes aren't like perfect, and there's just no value whatsoever. When I look at this, the best value is 1, 2, 3 Sanchoku, and that's a long way off. That hand, on the other hand, is real value with 2 Dora, possibly Peiko.
That is good for my fantasy team.
Wei has a Chun pair, and there it comes. So that's going to be Pwned. Rest of the shapes leave something to be desired, but probably just trying to move the game along. Chris gets an upgrade shape there, currently headless. So the 5, 6, 7, 8 can be used as a potential Sun Menchon on a draw or a pair if the 5 or 8 come up. Damien here gets a shape upgrade a bit. Gets rid of that 7. Could have kept the 6, 6, 6, 7 if that were a final shape, but sees the rest of the hand as is. Nah, we'll just throw
Yeah,
it.
he already has the care of the 9 Mon. He doesn't really need the Jantan shape there.
Well, that's a Haku pair, so now this can be a call and go type hand. The thing is, Chris would like some more value, but may just end up playing for second. We'll see.
Well, I mean, we're talking about teams that need big value. Chris just needs like 4 double Yakumons, and he's back in the game.
Yeah.
Top cut.
Remember how you said I wasn't a believer earlier? Well,
Yeah.
that hasn't changed. And Chris's hand looks pretty good.
I mean, it looks good from a
upgrades the
shape's
hand.
perspective, but just he doesn't have the value. That is a great draw for Melissa.
Well, yeah, upgrade your shape and pull a Dora in.
And now Waben can just scare the table.
Well, the problem is Wei has this awkward 5-8 in one suit and 4-7 in another.
I mean, what does that matter if what you're showing on the board is 2 called dragons?
Well, I don't think it is yet.
It's not yet, but one's in Damien's hand, and I don't think he could keep.
That is a lot of pairs there for Melissa. I think it's still Rian Shunten, though. Well, that's a fill.
Ooh, that's a good feel, too.
It's kind of an annoying one because you're going to end up having to use the Haku as your pairs. It will not be Pinfu. I imagine Hatsu
I mean,
comes
yes,
out
but
here.
like you get rid of your bad weight early. There goes Waven, now showing
the
that he
bone.
might have Die Songen, but Chris is the
Potential
only
Die
one that
Songen
knows that
here.
it can't be that.
And has 2 floaters. Would love to get a Honitsu upgrade. That is a lot of pairs. Damien saying, you know what? It's either Suanko or it's nothing.
Yep,
That is
and
a
there's
very
the full
nice
for
upgrade to
Melissa.
Ishan 10 for Melissa. This is a potential monster hand. Richi, Pinfu, Ipeko, Dora 2, Dora 3. You just throw the 3 back. It doesn't work in this
Yeah.
hand. No, Leg drew a 4 and threw it back. Well, you're just Tempai. You're not happy with it, but you just slam it. Richi, Dora 1.
There we go.
That's going to be
10-5
it.
on 6-9 pin.
Yep, 6-9 pin, Richidora 1 for Chris, just probably trying to get second. Although if you do sumo and hit Ura, you would hit Damien with the recovery. There's an argument to open Richi this.
It is late. We're getting down to the last 2 dealerships. I could see the argument. I still don't think I would.
I think I would. Like, I'm looking at these scores, especially with where the Opie dopes are now. I think I like the open Richi a lot here.
Oh, and score update on table 2. Oh, and Chris gets the pots.
Okay, well, that's one way.
Straight out of Damien's hands, too. That is so good for
That's
him.
a direct hit. Richi, Ipatsu, Dora will be 5,200. Will not completely close the gap, but makes this much closer. Or Melissa not only needs to jump them, but needs to jump both of them by a lot.
Yep, so all Melissa has to do now is get 60,000 points in her last dealership.
And gets a workable hand.
Yeah, this is definitely doable. Definitely needs to put in some work in her.
It has a
Monzo, but
Dora
I
in
think the
it,
food
but
will
yeah,
look
like
fine.
this is not only better than ours. This I'd say this is significantly
Okay,
better than
she has
average.
organized her hand, and I like her hand a lot more now.
Yeah, it's looked like a very good hand. I mean, you have to hear to your honors, but this is looking like a very good Richi
You have to get
Pinfu Dora.
yeah, you have to get rid of 3 honors, which is honestly, on the lower end of what you know to do anyway. But like all your shapes are basically there.
Also, the graphics showed up 3,900 on that play. It was 52 because that was a Richi Ipatsu Dora 1. So it would have been 40 fu. Anyway, looking at these hands, Wei has kind of a mess. Maybe 1, 2, 3 Sanshoku. Chris is just calling. Chris is like, you know what? I'm done. Give me points. I have a Dora. I'd love to pair up the Dora
Yeah.
and maybe sneak out with a first here. Damien's like, I just need
Damien,
one
yeah,
on.
similar
I don't
position.
care.
These are I want to leave this game calls. And with their speed, Melissa's hand is looking a lot worse.
Yeah, like when you always say you're like, okay, this is the type of like actual comeback type hand I get. It needs a little bit of time to maneuver. Oh,
Oh yeah, so we got 2 people calling. Got it. Understood.
yeah, and someone who's now called twice and I'm in danger. But yeah, if they end at 20,600, like the Team Doraneko will get 5th and will not make the cutoff.
Yes, it will be unfortunate for them.
Just completely
Especially,
irrelevant of what the other game does.
yeah, especially when we know Claire's already in 2nd place and it doesn't matter what she's doing. The only possible way that it could have gone is that Claire takes what Waven's score from last game, completely ints, and Doraneko just ends up as 4th, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Well, that's Tempai waiting on 6, so. Oh, wait. Oh, Tanyao. Yeah, it's a Tanya hand. Can't use that one. Didn't see the call there, but yeah, so that's an open Tanyao. No, that's an upgrade.
Air up.
Also gets rid of the potential 4-8-10 situation with that 9, so. And Wei's just trying to hedge towards the Sanshoku. Has a couple door in the hand.
Well, it's not even
Says,
a
you know
hedge.
what, if I can get out of
He has the
last.
Sanchoku. He has the Sanchoku to have
Yeah,
any
he needs
option.
value here. Yeah, Sanshoku Dora 2.
Well, Wei doesn't need value. He just needs to leave the game and get second.
Well, scores aren't reset, so you'd like to get out of last.
I mean, yes, but scores are halved, so it's not going to be nearly as bad if he does take that fourth. In the grand scheme of things, it's what, minus 20 points for his team?
Oh, that's a huge draw for Chris. That gives him a good route to first place. I'd have cut 3 so. Let's see. 2,000 is enough to overtake. So I guess he doesn't need it. Yeah, it's because we had the graphic wrong earlier. That's why. And now you're looking at this going, what is my shape?
Looking like, oh.
And Chris says, sure, I'll do that. And he's just Tempai for 2,000, 3-6 bet. Yeah.
Everyone knows what he's after.
Yeah, he just needs the hand over. 2,000 is good enough. Again, with the Uma spread as it is and the Oka, it's a pretty big win here. We'll get Opie Dopes into the playoffs. We need a nice way to cap off the season. Ooh, that's an interesting. I'd cut the 2
the deal in tile, but oh, he's okay. Damien's just going to deal in.
Well, that's going to be the end of that. So Chris does have the comeback here.
Yep, minor first for Opie Dopes. Damien followed right behind for the Penguin. Third place does not get enough to make top cut, and Waven gets out of the game exactly as I assume.
Yeah, 18,000, so going to be a fourth there. But the important part of this game is it looks like Team Dorneco will be eliminated, so we're going to have our top 4 now.
Hang on, table 2 isn't finished. There's still plenty of time for Claire to int 80,000 points.
I mean, I'd say I've never seen someone come back from needing 120,000, but I have actually seen that. It actually happened last year in the IORMC qualifiers, where I think it was Will had to have 120,000 and finish with about 135, I believe it was.
That's disgusting. I never want to see that. Unless it's my team that's doing it. But yeah, assuming no significant changes on table 2, in order, the Destroyers, the Sours, Triad, and the Falcons. So you could tune in next week here for the final table, the final cut, the game for all the marbles. Follow us on our socials at NYC Reaching Nomi, I think. I could be doing that wrong. I don't remember our socials. Or join us on our Discord and yeah, like, follow, and subscribe. Smash that like button. What are the other things that the kids say these days? Smash the like button. Ring the bell. Leave a comment if you hate us. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
All right, take care. Have a good evening, all.